It's time for Around the Ozarks News, brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Blue Current, and Thompson Sales. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Foreheads.
Hey, good morning to you. It is Monday, and here we are yet again. We're going to talk about some news. It's going to be chilly this morning, I think. So
cold once again. Yep.
We'll all get back to work.
All right. In the news, a man described as a serial child molester will never leave prison. A Greene County judge sentenced him to 9 consecutive life sentences for abusing 6 girls under the age of 12. A jury convicted 53-year-old Edward Martinez of this horrific abuse over a 25-year period starting in 1996. The fire emergency in the Los Angeles area continues. The death toll is now at least 16 people from the wildfires. Extremely high wind, which really is fuel to the fires, is expected to return this week. We're talking sustained wind speeds of 50 miles per hour. Wow. Springfield-based Convoy of Hope is there. They've sent more than a dozen semis full of relief supplies. More are on the way. You can follow along with Convoy's response on social media and donate at convoy.org/fires. And of course, Ethan is back. Actually, our viewers never knew you left, did they? Because you were gone.
I was there over the
weekend.
I was in California. Yeah, so if they followed Convoy on social media, they would have seen the video that I shot. I shot some videos while I was there. It's really unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. It's like just about every disaster that I'm able to go to with the Convoy team. You get an idea of what it is in your head because you see the video and you see the pictures on your phone. And then you get there and it's a whole different level because of typically how vast it is, how far it goes. A picture can only, a picture on a screen, you can only see what's in that photo. But when your eyes are there, you can see so much more. And the range, the distance that it goes of these fires. I was texting you as we were driving to the location, texting you pictures of the smoke coming up out of the mountains, and it's just so visible and intimidating, honestly, to see that smoke rising up and to know that that's people's lives. And we were walking around the rubble of people's lives. We were standing there where a family's house used to be and everything in it. There was a safe there, and the safe was open, meaning that they were able to get their supplies out, whatever was in the safe. They were able to get out and take it with them. But and it's weird too by looking at neighborhoods because it'll be down the mountain a little bit, and we were in Altadena, which is a little bit outside Pasadena, and there would be a neighborhood, and then there'd be one house burned down. And then you'd go another street, and there'd be houses, 2 houses burned down in a row, another one standing. It's just so strange how it happens. And then behind 2 of the houses, like a long stretch of houses that were destroyed. So it's very strange, but there's a big need there. And it's not just all mansions. I know that's what maybe some people think, that it's mansions in Palisades. There are some of those, but there are a lot of regular people too who are just living regular work-a-day lives like the rest of us. They just happen to live in Altadena, where things are expensive. So they got to start over too. So it's tough. It's rough.
I saw a college roommate of mine lost her house or apartment, really, but it was kind of crazy, because I haven't kept in close contact with her since graduation, but we're still friends on Facebook, and I was like, man, it's so wild.
I got to interview while I was there. I interviewed a pastor whose church was gone. The building they were in burned down. And he's out there trying to take care of other people, and they don't have a place to congregate anymore.
Right.
It's crazy. Back here in our neck of the woods, though, a dramatic rescue on a lake over the weekend. A woman and her dog fell through the ice of the pond in front of Lakeshore Apartments off Kansas Expressway. You know that pond right there.
Yeah.
The woman's puppy went out on the ice. She was worried about it, so she went out after it. That didn't go well. She fell through. 911 was called. The water rescue team was able to pull them to shore. And then she was taken to the hospital to be checked out, but they think everybody's going to be okay.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And police officers are okay, but a police cruiser sustained major damage, likely totaled, after being hit by a semi. It happened over the weekend because of the snow. Osage Beach police car was parked on the Grand Glaze Bridge because of a crash involving a semi when another semi slid out of control and took out the police car. Again, fortunately, the officers there were not hurt. Now that lawmakers are back in session in Jefferson City, the effort to keep the Chiefs and Royals in the state of Missouri is picking up in earnest. The state of Kansas, meanwhile, is also working in earnest, putting on a hard press, trying to lure the teams by offering to pay for up to 70% of the price tag for new stadiums in that state, in Kansas. On their website, the Chiefs are now asking fans about renovations to Arrowhead and about a possible new stadium, what fans think about that. The survey is up through Friday. So far, more than 300,000 people have answered that survey. So you're welcome to go to the Chiefs page and check it out.
Weigh in. Okay.
Yeah.
These are the final hours in office for Missouri Governor Mike Parson. His term will officially come to an end at noon today. He is the state's 57th governor, and the First Lady, Teresa, they are planning to return home to Bolivar, the family farm in Bolivar, which I have been to. It's lovely. That's exciting for them. He posted a final message online talking about leaving office, saying that he and the First Lady pray for safety and health and happiness of all Missourians. He called the time in office there in the governor's mansion the privilege of their lives.
I really like them. I like, just as people, I like them. Sarah and I have gotten to know them a little bit over the years through covering news. And then he's been to Convoy several times. When we opened the new Convoy headquarters, he was there. I said, I think I called him when I was introducing him at a big event. I think I started calling him. And now, let's see, the governor of, do what?
What did you call him?
I was reading my notes and I was introducing him, and I got to, and now please welcome the governor of the United States of, and then I said, wait a minute, no, the governor of Missouri. I don't know what I was doing, but I just started introducing him, and I did that, so that was funny. But he's a great guy, and his wife is lovely. We only know them because Sarah covered him when he was sheriff in Polk County, right?
Yeah, I think it was when he was sheriff. He was sheriff, and then he was, I don't know, maybe he was like running for governor at the time. I just went out there a few different times for some reason.
Well, I mean, he's a governor, and he's from our area, so it's neat. It's neat that he's from here.
Right. And then I spoke a couple of times at events that he was at, and he was just very encouraging and kind.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they are. So it'll be nice to have them back. Yeah. I'm sure they're anxious to kind of get their lives back a little bit, because that's
probably
a 24/7 job.
So. Yeah.
So he's done a good job, and we thank him for his service, he and the First Lady. Now, by the way, we know who the Chiefs will play next weekend. They will take on the Houston Texans. The Chiefs enjoyed a bye week over the weekend, so a weekend of rest as the wild card games were taking place. They got to enjoy that. The Texans are the lowest seed to advance, so the number one seeded Chiefs get them at home next weekend in the round. And if you were with us last week, you will recall that we gave away tickets to that divisional round. We had a contest at aroundtheozarks.com, and Julie from Springfield won those tickets. So she's going to be enjoying the Chiefs-Texans game next weekend. Good for her.
That's exciting. Go, Julie, go. And you know what I'm laughing at right now, Ethan, is that if I were inside your brain, I know exactly what you're thinking. You were thinking that you stacked the show and you did not put the two Chiefs stories together.
No, you know what I did?
You separated them with a story about the governor, and you're right now thinking, darn it, I missed that. And sometimes you miss it, and so you say it out loud, and then you're like, crap.
Well, I didn't miss it.
It's okay.
I didn't miss it. I thought about it, and it was a conscious decision because...
Really?
It was lawmakers and then the governor.
Oh.
Lawmakers are back in Jefferson City. That's what the story was about. So now they're picking up the Chiefs thing.
Right.
The topic they're talking about is Chiefs, but the lawmakers are doing something. That led me to the governor and then the Chiefs, because I didn't want to do the governor after the Chiefs playing a football game.
Right.
Okay.
I stand corrected.
I appreciate you calling that out. I'm happy to correct it.
If I were in your brain, I mean, it's only been 18 years. I don't know you as well as I thought I did. That's all. It's fine.
No, yeah, I mean, you're right. I did think about it, and I made I had to weigh that, and that's what won. I made a conscious decision. I've been a producer for many, many years.
All of the non-news, there's a lot of news types out there, so you understand.
Typically, Chiefs and Chiefs would go together.
Yeah, you try to keep the topics together.
But in this case, it was lawmakers and governor went together.
And if it bleeds, it leads. That's true.
It's always the roughest crime first, because that's really serious and you got to get past it.
Yep.
Like this horrific first story that we had today. Disgusting.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's stuff we got to tell you about.
Then it gets better. So like this, are you ready? It was a pretty slow deer season when it comes to alternative methods of hunting. The 10,000 deer harvested was about down 2,400 from last year's total for the same time period. Archery season continues through Wednesday. So we'll see.
It does.
Yep. With the number
and then finally this is what we call the kicker. It's in television news. It's the last story. And, recently they kind of did away with the kicker because they used all of the time for more serious stuff earlier, sometimes weather, because weather goes long and then you kill the kicker.
Yep.
But we don't have weather in this, so Ron Hurst cannot go long on us like he does.
And Abby Dyer is welcome to go long because there's nothing. She's
got her own window.
Time constraint.
Yeah, no, she's got her own window. People watch her the whole way through, and it doesn't affect our timing. But here's the kicker today. It's a neat story. It's a very unique piece of Missouri history up for auction right now. It's a gold medal from the 1904 Olympic Games held in St. Louis.
Wow. It's
in pristine condition, too. It has its own original ribbon. So the ribbon is still in good shape, original, and the leather case that it came in. That's cool. It was originally won by American Frederick Schul in the 110-meter hurdles, not the 100-meter hurdles.
Yeah, I was about to say that is an interesting little.
The 110-meter
why?
Hurdles.
I bet it's because they part of the competition is seeing how someone can do on the turn.
Oh, I don't know.
Because if you think about it, it's 100 yards. But if you add the 10, it's going to be half of the turn.
Half of the turn? It's a little bit of the turn. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if they still have the 110-meter hurdles or if they changed the distance.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a full turn. It wouldn't be the full turn, but it'd be like a portion of it. Like you'd certainly, have to turn or you'd have to hurdle on a turn, I think.
You'd start it, yeah. At any rate, if you're interested in bidding on this thing, you better have more than $168,000 to spend on it because that's what the bidding is at last time I checked, which was a few hours ago. Fascinating fact, by the way, to wrap up our Monday, the St. Louis Olympic Games were the very first in which a gold, silver, and bronze medal were handed out for first, second, and third place. Prior to that, I think they just gave out gold. But then it started back in 1904. We started rewarding the first losers. And now everybody gets a trophy. So we've devolved.
Well, thanks for joining us. We are super glad you are here. Thank you to our sponsors. Where would we be without the Springfield Greene County Park Board and Blue Current and Thompson Sales? We wouldn't be here. So thank you to them as well. Yep. And we hope to see you back here tomorrow morning.
Yep. We appreciate them. We appreciate you. We'll see you.
Bye.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Command Family Medicine and John's Heating and Air. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. You are waking up on this Monday morning, January 13th, to very cold temperatures. I know we spent the weekend kind of thawing out across the Ozarks after all the snowfall came through late last week, more than 6 inches in many places across the Ozarks. It takes some time to melt that off. And many places that have the big piles on the sides of the roads, on the side of the driveway, or if you didn't shovel it all, it may take some time to melt that away because we are starting with cool temperatures this week. In fact, this morning, we're waking up in the mid-teens. It is cold out there, but most schools are back in session. That's the good news. This was a nice melting snow. Sunshine did its job over the weekend, so we've seen big improvement in many areas, and I am expecting that to continue as we head through the course of today. Even though we have cold temperatures, the sunshine will be out and it'll do us some good in the melting department. Later this week is when we do a lot of the melting, and the muddy conditions may start by late this week as well. Very cold, though, to start things off in this new work week. We've got temperatures down into the middle teens. I've got numbers today that stay below the freezing point. It will be a cold afternoon out there. Temperatures likely topping out in the upper 20s and low 30s across the region. I do expect that we keep the cold air in place today and tomorrow behind a cold front that came through. Now, tomorrow I can't rule out a couple of snow flurries in the forecast, but I'm not expecting this measurable snowfall like what we had around in the Ozarks late last week. This is just going to be a little bit of moisture that's left in the air. The atmosphere may be able to squeeze out a couple of snowflakes on the backside of a cold front. But overall, we're just talking chilly temperatures and sunshine in the forecast today. And then that snow chance does arrive quickly tomorrow. Highs will stay just below freezing today, as I mentioned. So make sure you bring all the winter gear with you. Kids still need snow boots and things as you're heading out to the school because the snow is going to be on the ground for a little while. I think we keep it around for much of the work week. We have more normal temperatures that are expected by Wednesday. We're back to the 40s. And by Thursday and Friday, we could be approaching the low 50s, which will do us a lot of good for some melting. We kind of thaw out for a couple of days. But don't get too used to it. I see signals for another Arctic blast coming in by the weekend. So just, staying in the deep frozen part of the country as we head through the month of January. There is little to no precip expected in this work week's forecast, aside from that small chance for flurries that I mentioned on Tuesday. Don't be caught off guard by those. Otherwise, I think it's primarily a dry work week in the forecast. We may need to watch the weekend, though. I mentioned Arctic temperatures returning. That could come with some rain or snow chances too, again, by the weekend forecast. Still several days off, but that's what I'll be keeping a close eye on as the forecast gets a little bit closer this week. Today, I mentioned upper 20s. I have 28 for the high temperature in Springfield. Tonight, we're going to be back down into the middle teens once again. If you do see some melting, you get the wet roads, just keep in mind that can refreeze in temperatures that fall to the teens. So there could still be slick spots on the roads, even though the trend here is to melt off the snowpack. By Tuesday, we're going to see high temperatures climb a little bit more back above freezing tomorrow. And then I think everybody's above freezing by Wednesday, but those overnight lows remain very cold. There is this signal for below average temperatures starting next weekend, the 19th through the 25th. Looks like below normal temperatures are possible for a large portion of the country. This is nearly 15 degrees below where we typically are. So this is just kind of an early heads up that the cold is not over yet. It looks like we get another push of that Arctic air by the weekend and potentially lasting into next work week's forecast. Around the country, things still very active. Of course, we've got moderate to heavy snowfall happening for portions of the central and northern Rockies to kick off the new week. Also, frigid temperatures are taking over for much of the country. It's just going to be a cold January, I think, on average for much of the country. That's kind of the trend that we're seeing. And as I told you, the long-range charts are indicating that we get another push of this cold air as we head into next week. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister Trivia question. Question that I left you with on Friday. On average, how much snow does Springfield get in the month of January? And the options were A, 1.3 inches, B, 3 inches, C, 4.4 inches, or D, 5.6 inches. Well, the average is C, 4.4 inches, but this year is going to be way above average for the month of January, considering Springfield got more than 6 just on one day alone. So we will see where we land at the end of the month, but this is a 30-year average. So when we factor in 2025, we may see that average go up a little bit in the climatology. But congrats if C 4.4 was your guess. If it seems like a cold, snowy, wintry January, you're not crazy. It really is compared to what we typically see here in the Ozarks. Here's a question that I'll leave you with for tomorrow. In what month does winter begin in the southern hemisphere? Do you think it is A, in November, B, December, C, May, or D, June? You can let me know your guess. That's at aroundtheozarks.com. While you're there, you can check out the weather page and the contest page. We've always got fun giveaways going on. So make sure you find that and enter to win your chance at all of our awesome contests and prizes that we have running on the website. Again, that's aroundtheozarks.com. Thanks so much for starting your new week with me. We'll get through this cold together. Just bundle up and prepare for another cold blast to arrive next weekend. Thanks so much to our sponsors, Command Family Medicine and John's Heating and Air. We'll chat tomorrow.